I'm dolo, and I'm good with that.
Don't fuck with me. I'm
backed by God, so I don't even know how to have the fear you need me to have.
Boy, if you weak ass niggas even thought of doing something to me, I light y'all bitch ass up.
I don't fuck with nobody. So when you fuck with me, I'm fuck with you.
You want to be somewhere where people are all trying to grow. And if you going behind, guess what they gonna do? Tell you, hey bro, either get right or get the hell on. You see what I'm saying? And them the type of people you need to be around because that holds you to a standard.
If you can't receive someone telling you something, and even if you don't like who's saying it, if you're focused on what they're who's saying it than what they're saying, you're not emotionally intelligent.
That's a fact.
You're emotional.
God put me through a lot of trials and tribulations so that I wouldn't get complacent, so that I could remember who the fuck I am.
Obsessed with finding myself now and not having to prove anything to anybody other than myself.
Believe in wins and lessons. Ain't no such thing as a loss. Everything is a lesson.
You can't let nothing break you. I don't care what the situation is, my nigga. Don't let that shit break you, because it's always a
Stay
way.
you. Be you, be different. Don't try to follow no ways. What work for somebody else ain't gonna work for you.
Oh, I'm trying to better myself. I'm trying to, I'm struggling to better myself, or I'm just trying to be a better person. Yeah.
Giving your best is enough. And sometimes we lose track of that. So for anybody out there, you know, you're enough.
If one door closed, another one gonna open.
See, I'm not one of them niggas that know a lot about a little. I know a little about a lot, bitch. I might not be the brightest candle on the cake, but bitch, I'm lit.
My friends be like, how come you not famous yet? I be like, you didn't share my shit. How come you ain't shared it yet?
Yo, what up, what up, what up? What up, Boogie? I see you in the building. Got Boogie in the building. Who else out there? I see y'all. See y'all. Welcome in. Let's get it. I probably wanted to shop. Okay, ready? I'm gonna be.
Bitch on the ride of my day like a must.
Okay, ready? I'm gonna be.
Bitch on the ride of my day like a Mustang. I got a watch on my wrist is a bust down. See ya. I'm tryna hop on a flight out of town. See ya. But I see my baby to bring it right round. See ya.
Oh yeah, what it do? Alright, right, alright. Got two people out there watching. How y'all doing out there? Thanks for leaving that like. Don't forget to drop it when you come in.
This is a picture of Tartaria Fairmount Park. You can see the building down by the river where I made my videos. Drop your comments below.
What do you think about the pyramids they discovered in Kentucky about a month ago? They've been able to clear the forestage quite quickly to expose them. And the scientific community is into a tizzy. There's two camps. Some are saying these are clearly Mayan. The Mayan must have made their way from Guatemala to Kentucky and built these. And others are saying, no way, these are different Native American or ancestry-age. Either way, I don't care. Like, I want to get to the bottom of it, but I just think it's cool that these things have been in Kentucky Kentucky this whole time right under our nose, just like right here under our nose. And we never knew about it until a month ago. And so I'm super excited to go there. They said they're opening it up to tourists here in a few weeks, and it's just going to be fun to see.
Yeah, discovering some stuff for Black History Month, y'all. Don't forget that's what it is, Black History. Let's get back on to the Leviathan.
All right, TikTok. It's time to get back to business. Y'all want to see all of the earthquakes in the last 3 days? When I told you that Levi is moving? Oh, watch this. Thanks to a comment from one of my friends on here, she pointed me in the right direction of this earthquake map. And it keeps up with 3 days worth of earthquakes. And if you look right above Venezuela, for those of you who follow me, you know the head of the serpent is there. But look where I told you the body is. When I tell you all, she is moving, she is moving. Now, we got to get back to business. Charlie Kirk, yeah, y'all know if you know, you know. But where we're at right now, we can't lose where we were. So we need to pick up with Levi, the earthquakes, and getting everyone out of California still prepare to move eastward, okay? That is not off the topic right now, all right? Charlie Kirk, whatever you want to believe, if you believe it was real, if you...
Oh, just saying, man. I think we really need to start moving. Especially, yeah, you moving too. Shit, go. I don't know why he said to the coast. Stay away from the coast. You don't want that. Them problems. Yo, what up, Jen? DJ, yo. I see y'all. See y'all. But they want us to move out towards the ocean and shit. We should really be moving towards like the lake instead of, you know what I'm saying? Like mountain areas. Shit like that. But they don't want them problems, man. That's why you trying to freeze the snake. Freeze that son bitch back to sleep. Hopefully he keep it asleep.
Check out this map of America showing the Indian tribes from the 1600s. So this map was done in 1840, and as you can see here along the Atlantic Ocean, it's all from the 1600s, and then past the Mississippi, those areas it's going to be the 1800s. So when you go through here, you'll see no Florida, just a completely different name, Seminoles. And the earth looks like you have the Muscogee. There's all kinds of the different Indians that Susquehannocks, Delawares. Those were Indians before it was the state of Delaware. Interesting. And all the different Indian names that were changed. And then you have this anecdotes. Many 5 nations here, so you have the 5 nations up near the lakes, and then all the different spots here. You have Illinois, which were a group of Indians, and then past the Mississippi area over here is where it was done for the 1800s, which I don't know, doesn't make sense to me, but that's how they did it. Still have the Gulf of Mexico down here. Here's the Mississippi coming up. Rio, Colorado. So you still have the Colorado River. Interesting. And then, yeah, I mean, California looks pretty new and accurate there as far as the drawings. Very interesting. Anyways, this was done in 1840, so it should have some of the newer stuff here. Inhabitants of Alaska, the Klingon of Kojak first, and the, I'm not even going to pronounce that, are all Eskimos. Cool. Very interesting. If you want a link to this map, just hit me up in the comments. I'll be happy to get it to you. Just bear with me. It's quite busy at work right now. But just thought this was such a neat map and a little bit different than the ones I usually see, because it's showing me kind of North America in a way, way different way. That's for sure. Check out Greenland up here. Very cool. Very cool. Anyways, thanks so much for supporting. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being a part of this. And until next time.
Yo, what up, Nori? Holy shit. Jeez, man. Catch my breath. I like, you know how I like maps, y'all. So, watching a little bit of that. Seeing who was building those pyramids, really. You know what I'm saying? Looked like it was Cherokee land before anything, so might be. But let's get back to the serpent.
No earthquakes. You don't hear about earthquakes in Africa. There are none. There are no major. All right, you guys, if you follow me, I told you these beasts were waking up. I told you they're waking up. All right. I told not only they're waking up, I told you she was feeding, and I also told you that the earthquakes would be ramping up. I told you she feeds through here. This is what causes all of your hurricanes coming this way. Usually come right through here because she's sucking, pulling wind across the water. Okay. Now look at all these earthquakes. If you follow me, you already know I've showed you. This is the head. There's the nose right there, mouth area, around to the cheek side of the head. Just think about a snake, you guys. All right. Coming up through here. And I told you it runs up here. Runs through here. You're going to, right here, Denver. All of this is, you're going to have earthquakes running right along here. Okay. And I told you all that you're going to have more running along here throughout the belly of the beast. Because I found this thing by finding the digestive tract of it. All right. More earthquakes. Earthquakes. Earthquakes, earthquakes, earthquakes. I told you all. This is the tail. All right. Tail comes out in the Bering Sea. Bering. I told you all that she was having bearing. All right. Are y'all keeping up? Birthing pains. Are you guys keeping up? This is the cloaca. And I told you the last time, I believe she had pushed them out. And they are over here. All right. And this is why Japan always has the Godzilla movies, because they are close to Japan. When they come out, that's more than likely where they're going to go. They're going to call it an attack. And not only that, here's Daddy sitting right here. All right. There's his cheek around to the side of his mouth. And he goes right through here. This one feeds through here right beside Taiwan. All right. You'll always get typhoons there when this one feeds. And those typhoons will start and work their way right through here, similar to hurricanes. All right. So, now let's get around to Afghanistan. Heard that Afghanistan had a 6.0 earthquake, and a lot of people had died. That's a 5.2 in Afghanistan right there. Here's another. Everywhere you're seeing earthquakes, people, it is a live being. All right. For those of you that just followed me and found out that Africa is the head, literal head of Goliath. If not, man, just Google Detta and Goliath, David and Goliath, and you'll see this was an amazing find. You got to remember, in the Bible, Goliath was hit in the head by a stone that broke through his skull. All right. David hit him with a stone. And after he hit him with a stone, he chopped off his head. All right. And if you look down here, here's the eye, forehead. Go read it. It says it hit him in the forehead with a stone and it penetrated. All right. Forehead. This is where the eye was right here. His eye socket. All right. Nose, lips, chin. And I told you all when I first found out that Africa was a skull that this is the carotid artery in your throat, in your neck. You know, somebody hit it, it's over for you. Your jugular. All right. And I said, man, whatever did this to this being right here had to cut his head off or rip his head off. Once again, go to the story of David and Goliath and you'll see. And I'll touch on this too right here where you can see the green. All right. Where green usually grows is hair. And up here, it's dry. There's no hair, which more than likely means that this being had a George Jefferson hair around the sides, nothing around the rest of the skull, because he was already going bald. That's why nothing grows here. Right here, still had hair. All right, down his face, still had hair round to his beard. Still had hair. All right, not only that, I also told you all that your diamonds come from the teeth of this. Diamonds are mostly found in Botswana. All right, and Botswana, right there. Look, you see that white? Let me show you. Look at that. All right, I told you, there's a nose, there's a lip. All right, so in this lip, this would be the mouth. Botswana, teeth. Nambia, teeth, wisdom teeth back here on the jawline. Go and check and see where you find your diamonds at in Africa, people. Now, I've also taught you that wherever the earthquakes are, is where these serpents are moving. Like that one, you guys remember, the first Levi that really brought me out to the world, and whenever I started explaining about this one. But also when he wakens, earthquakes. All right, earthquakes. This is the other one up here. Everywhere there's earthquakes around the ring of fire, it is life. It is a serpent of some sort that is alive. Now, if you look at Africa, there are
I'm not done. I have more. What in the world?
no earthquakes. You don't hear about earthquakes in Africa. There are none. There are no major mountain ranges like that in Africa. All right. Excuse me. Africa is the head of Goliath. Nothing's alive there. You can't even get good energy there because it's dead. It's dead. All right. This is why Africa has the least energy and the most problems, because there is no life to sustain life. All right. Now, when you come over here, now the most energy from these beings, any being, is going to be around the heart area. And if you go and look up the anatomy of a serpent, you'll see after the neck, you'll end up in the area around the heart. All right, which is around Nevada, area 51. You'll end up in the area of the belly, which is the belly of the beast. You can clearly see here how fat that is, where she eats at. All right, that's why that is so fat in that area and in this area. Just go and feed a snake, and you'll see how your snake plumps up where the food sits. All right, that's what you have right here. And this one runs right along there, all the way up through the Yukon, all the way out into the Bering Sea. All right. Bearing. Women bearing what? Babies. All right. And I told you all again, as long as this is frozen, she's not going to move. But we know Alaska is thawing out. That's why they were evacuating Juneau, because the glaciers are starting to melt. And once they all melt, she will be able to move some more. And I'm going to tell you now, this tail will go upward. That is the only direction it can work. It will work itself upward. She's not going to close it back down to bring it this way. If she try to close it down this way, it will swing a tidal wave beyond belief towards us. And that is very possible if she wanted to clean herself and rid herself of things on this side. She could indeed swing that tail this way to throw that water across her to clean herself off. I am going to warn the humans right now. I am going to warn the humans right now. All right. After I learned what I learned about Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the Naga serpents, and I show you the serpent in Japan. I just pointed it out. I told you that was dad. All right. You want to call him Godzilla? Call him that. Nagasaki is on his eye. Hiroshima is on his eye. So I'm going to go out on a limb and tell you, since this one is moving, here is the eye of it. So whenever you all start to see that they're bringing ships towards Venezuela, Colombia, or in the Caribbean Sea, if they start setting up nuclear warships in this area, I'm letting you know now that this is what's going to get bombed. All right. And I am also going to warn the humans that have this messed up thought in their head that they are going to nuke the eye of this. If you blow this eye and you hurt this creature, you're going to cause more damage than just letting the creature stay there and do what it do. All right. If you blow this eye, this area, I'm telling you, Venezuela, if y'all start to see an influx of ships, nuclear powered ships, submarines, anything towards Venezuela, this is the area that's going to be blown to fucking pieces. I lied to you not, because Nagasaki is on the eye of the other one in Japan, and I'm sure that's what they did to it to slow it down whenever it started moving again. Now, I'm warning all world governments, if you blow this creature's eye, because you can't penetrate shit else, the only thing that it can do to hurt them is blind them. When you blind them, I'm just letting you know that you're going to put everyone, all right? Everyone from here to Alaska in critical danger, all right? Whenever that happens, you will make this creature do what it normally does. They move slow like snakes. Snakes do not move fast unless they are startled or have to strike. And once you blow that up in his eye, you can about guarantee that she's going to swing that tail and bring a tsunami beyond belief.
Yeah, man. That shit crazy though. It looked good. It looked good. For entertainment purposes only, really. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, bro. That shit looked like it could be many signs of some shit that came. When, yeah, you know.
So TikTok updated their guidelines again, and I be damned if they ain't coming for my videos. But the only reason I believe that they updated this time was because something's about to happen that they don't want us talking about. All right? Listen to me, people. Today is 777. All right? Today is the 777 portal, people. And I need you to understand that a lot is about to happen. Okay? Now, what's about to happen and go down, they don't want us discussing it. They do not want it put out across the world. Whatever's about to happen, they're trying to silence it before it's loud. Now, we know that this is a time of sacrifice. We're under a new moon, 777 portal, and if you looked up, Venus has been extremely bright in the sky every morning lately. It's been talk about Donald Trump's health, and a lot of us already know that we all believe that something's going to happen to him to where either he
Allegedly. But he ain't gone nowhere yet. So can't expect him to go nowhere now. Shit. You know what I mean?
So even the Star of David, that was never a symbol for Judaism until Sebastian Sebai, 1666. This is when he declared himself the Messiah. And that symbol is actually from Solomon. They believe that it has mystic powers. Prior to that, it was the Kiddush cup that represented Judaism. So if you go on Wikipedia, it'll tell you that. It's Kabbalistic. So they're wearing the Star of David. The Jews that I went to school with, do I think that they're practicing orgies? No, of course not. The Reformed Jews are not doing that I went to school with. They're being told, you wear this because the Holocaust happened and, you should love this symbol. It's a symbol of who you are. And I am challenging them to learn more because it does go back to Baal worship. You're exactly correct when you say that. They don't know that no more than I knew things about Black history. You know what you're told. We have to all become more studious on the topic of theology, is what I think.
I agree with you. Definitely agree with you. Everybody has to be more studious. If you ain't studying, damn, bro. But that's what you come here for. I study with you. You know what I'm saying? I help you get to the upper room or higher echelon, if you will.
It's amazing that all the information I give you all, a lot of people try to tell me I'm wrong and then go right back to the Bible and don't realize a lot of the information I'm giving you all is right out of the Bible. Right now, we're entering Revelation chapter 6. Here, let me show you. All right, let's turn our Bibles to Revelations chapter 6, verse 12. And behold, when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as a sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. What moon did we just have? And is there an eclipse coming? Verse 13. And the stars of heaven fell into the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. Didn't we just have the meteor shower? Y'all better keep up. 14. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled.
Mm-hmm. He is telling the truth though. Like, for educational purposes and entertainment value, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of the stuff that they say now is coming from the books, you know what I'm saying? Everything will come into fruition. It's just when. The end times is all times. Because it's ending at some time of the old time. So the old ways will have to adapt to the new. And that's what scares a lot of people that are old because they don't want to understand the fact that adaptation is necessary. You know what I'm saying? We have to progress. Without progress, there will be no us. So we continue to live on shit and produce shit. But don't forget, you have to be something other than shit.
No divine feminine, no divine masculine. All life did not come from a woman. All life did not come from a man. Everything was created in pairs. For those of you that say that everything came from a woman and the first human being had to be a woman, let's take that on. Let's go with that. Okay. Who fed her? How did she grow up? What did she eat? Who booby did she suck from? Are you starting to understand? It's just another way to divide us, man. Y'all have to pay attention. The true awakening is this, is understanding what you come from. And what you come from is nothing. and nothing is everything. And whenever you understand that concept, then you'll start to understand life. But until you understand that concept, you're going to continue to divide each other amongst each other. There was a time when I thought that God has to.
See? He made my point. There has to be a yin and a yang, a push and a pull. You know what I'm saying? Something has to give and something has to take. in order for it to make.
I said it once and I'm going to say it again. Nobody cares about those victims. Everybody that sat up here and watched those Grammys tonight absolutely proves it. A lot of those celebrities that got awards tonight, whether they was on stage or whether they was in the audience, was on those fucking Epstein files. And the fact that many of you still watched and supported it says a whole lot. Like I said before, y'all never gave a fuck about the goddamn victims. Y'all just cared whether or not Trump's name was in there, and y'all just needed to think pieces and gossip to fucking talk about. Let's be clear. There was so much heinous and satanic and dark shit that was in those files. And for us to wake up the next day and the day after the day and still support these people is absolutely fucking diabolical to me. We are the ones who actually hold the power, but yet for some reason, y'all just keep giving it to them, keep giving them to them. Y'all don't want to believe that Jay-Z was in the files because y'all can't fathom Beyonce no longer being your fucking queen, right? You can't imagine Pusha T being in the files because him and his brother just dropped a dope ass album. A lot of y'all need to fucking stop being delusional and come to fucking reality that this shit is deeper than we can think, imagine, or fathom. And I've said this before.
Damn. But real talk. I've been saying this shit since 2012. Shit. I've known since that when Hillary emails came out. I've been saying shit back then. You go check on my other channel. Stoner in the Hot Box. I do post there, but not regularly. It's been a long time. Been a long time coming. But we still stay down. 10 toes, y'all. Let's get it.
I'm not an archaeologist, so I'm not qualified to make conclusions, but in researching this story, one thing kept bugging me. Most sources say that Native Americans crossed over from Asia on a land bridge that connected what is now Alaska to Siberia. But the race of people that are now called the Mound Builders seem to have originated from the deep south along the banks of the Mississippi River. Mounds in Louisiana have been dated to be the oldest, and the mounds further from the Mississippi Delta are known to be the latest. So where did these people come from if they migrated not from Siberia, but from the Gulf of Mexico? And there were those two brass bracelets.
The bracelets that were found with the artifact were also tested for metal content. And interestingly enough, they contained copper, zinc, tin, and lead. Rarely do you see lead, but the lead was put in there to give the metal more malleability. But the ratio of the two bracelets, together with samples that were tested of 1st and 2nd century Jewish bronze work in the Mediterranean, were so statistically close, it's unbelievable.
Well, like I said, their story ain't our story. Just because this story is what they want to tell us, don't mean that it's true. Right?
For entertainment. So Alaska is under evacuation. I wonder why. Now, let's talk about it. Now, for those of y'all that truly follow me, you know I've showed you Levi, and I've also showed you the serpent from the Caribbean, in which the tail stops. Where at? That's right, Alaska. Now, I know a lot of you are familiar with this, and you know that every dot you see is an earthquake that happened within the last 24 hours. Here's Alaska. Now, I showed you that. There's the lip. All right, just remember how a head of a serpent like a viper is shaped. All right, this even goes through right there. All right, goes into the neck, and it runs up here, runs up, and the tail. All right, it comes around here, and here's the tail that's underwater, and it even has a barb on the end. And I told y'all this is where the cloaca is. All right, so all of the earthquakes coming from this, I told you that is really nothing more than a poop chute. What we are following is mouth. It feeds through here, right beside Puerto Rico. Food goes in, goes through digestive system, okay? Goes through digestive system. Belly of the beast, Los Angeles. The literal, look at how fat it is. You see it? How it gets wide right there? All right, belly.
Yo, Shoes, what up, what up? Yeah, we up in this beast. We kicking it. Motherfucking YouTube streets. Trying to chill with the G's. You know how it is. Yeah, yeah.
Democratic Party, I'm going to say it tonight.
Listen closely.
So that you won't be confused, is the Antichrist Party.
Thank you.
It is anti-family.
Thank you.
And I'm going to say this, you're not going to believe it, but it is anti-black folk.
Thank you.
You are only needed for votes.
Thank you.
Only loved when it's time to get your votes. There's no real care about you. And see, we still stuck, and we got that thing ingrained in us that this is the party for the black man. It is not. The party has changed. Black people, really, to be honest with you, have never been the priority. They have only been used. Go back and look at the Civil Rights Act of 1964. We've all given Democrats credit for that, but Johnson was the one that wanted to pass it, but he couldn't get enough Democrat votes to pass it. It was the Republicans that pushed and passed the 1964 Civil Rights Act. Go tonight and look it up. Look at Wiki, W-I-K-I, put it in there, 1960. He couldn't even get enough Democrats to vote for it. So he had to go to Republican senators in order to help him out. They are anti-life. The party pushes stuff that's anti-life. It pushes anti-morality because most of their policies are immoral. That pushes sexual perversion.
Thank you.
It is the party of death. Why do you say that, Pastor? If you go back, you'll see slavery started with the Democratic Party.
Thank you.
And we saw many slaves that died. We also saw under Jim Crow. Jim Crow was established by Democrats. And we saw under Jim Crow how many were hung and lynched. And then we are seeing today how many babies, African American people are giving up their future because they won't have, in another 15, 20 years, they won't have enough people because they have cut their birth rates off and have aborted their children. This is exactly what the party wants. So it is a party of death when it comes down to it. It is a party that is against black families. Look at the history of the family.
Ooh, I don't know why they let me find this. Because y'all know I be on this all the time. I tell y'all, I don't mess with Republicans or Democrats, neither one. You know what I'm saying? And all this time, what have they really done? What have they gave us? What has transpired? What have we gotten for everything that done happened over here? Not a thing. And y'all still keep believing in this system. Y'all still keep wanting to believe in all this stuff. These churches too. Some of these churches ain't right. Y'all got to watch where y'all go and worship. Y'all got to watch where y'all go and worship. Learn the Bible so you can determine what's real and what's not. Pay attention to what's going on. Pay attention to where you're giving your money to and where they putting it when you give it to them. Watch these people. When you start paying attention and you see things happen in the community and they're never there, I keep trying to tell y'all, 2 + 2 is 4. I don't know what y'all math be getting. Message.
The message. Y'all know what time it is. Timing is timing, and they off the time that the time should be on. Like, their time is not the time. Their time is not now. Their time has gone and went. Satan's season is over. The golden dawn is here. And like Monkey D. Luffy, I'm trying to be king of the pirates in this beast. These seas is treacherous. This water's starting to get a little murky. You know what I'm saying? So I don't give a fuck about a vote. Exactly, I don't vote either, my guy. Locally or for president. You should vote locally, but at that point, do I feel like I'm a slave to the system that I ain't even participating in. Like at that point, I feel like they have my consent, and I don't want to give them that. You feel me? So I don't do that shit. It's beyond me. And some people say, like, well, why don't you do it? I'm like, because that's participating in shit that I don't understand. And if both sides of the bird is flapping and standing still at different times, what's the bird doing? Looks like it's having a stroke. So that bird is the system. And if the system's stroking, I don't like to be stroked, but I do like to stroke. You know what I'm saying? I'll stop like there. I'll stop right there. Pause. You know what I'm saying? Keep moving.
I got some names that I want to call. Alex Spiro, Desiree Perez, and the whole wicked system of Rock Nation, including you, Jay-Z.
Yes. Yes.
You who say you rose from the gutter, but you have traded and bartered the souls of young men, and you're still doing it.
Belief that you are secretly saving the world from this satanic cult of pedophiles and cannibals. Does that sound like something you are behind?
Well, I haven't heard that, but is that supposed to be a bad thing or a good thing? I mean, you know, if I can help save the world from problems, I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to put myself out there.
And that is what makes him somebody, you know what I'm saying, that you can trust, because he's going after the criminals, the real criminals. You know what I'm saying? Because these are the people that have the potions, that have the motions. Shit. You need to get rid of these witches and warlocks anyway. Shit. And like Asman, we trying to get them exposed.
Who all is in the Austin office? That's where I live. Who is going to want pizza? We only have one slice, and we need to know how thinly to slice it. You only have one slice, and you need to know how thinly to slice it. Does the pizza offer include all of us who can't make the meeting because we're out here editing? Because if so, count me in. Are you sure this might not be the James Jones Kool-Aid event? T.L.R, please eat my slice.
Y'all, it's a crazy, sick, sad world. And if somebody wants to clean up the swamp, we gotta let them do it. We gotta let them do it. You know what I'm saying? You have to follow through. And if you don't follow through, you alongside the wrong side. You feel me? I get it.
You know, when Epstein was alive, like 10 years ago, nobody cared about it. But they're only doing it. But now it's really hitting back on them because Bill Clinton is such a big part of it. The Democrats are pushing it. And the problem is that it's turning out to be the Democrats that were with and conspired with Epstein. So I think you're probably going to see a little pullback from them. But think of it. They were working together to try and help me lose the election. But this is the Oval Office, so I guess that didn't work out too well.
Hey, snake's gotta learn how to swim. If he don't, he gonna drown. But you know what? Put him in the burlap bag. You have no problem. No problem. Just tie a little rope to it, throw it down. That's how you get rid of the swamp water.
You don't believe in the spirit or the soul? That's what animates people, is your spirit or your soul. That's
No.
Have you ever seen someone die? When they die, their spirit leaves.
Their soul leaves, no question. So in
There's
fact,
no question to you about
no
that.
question.
There's no question to you that there is some animating life force within us that leaves when you're dead.
God took chemicals, which is simply the material, like tables, and he somehow made this material able to have a thought. How strange is that? Not only does it have a soul, but this some way it was put together that this material substance is able to think. So when you say to me, it's obvious to everyone that there's such a thing as a soul. Now, if you're part of the Charlatanville, you'll try to explain it to people. The soul I describe as the dark matter of the brain.
See? Dark matter, y'all. Hey, that's some crazy shit about this Wayfair shit, bro. That is really crazy, man. For 12K, huh? 13K, huh? All of them melanated. Shit, the white girl only 10K. What the fuck? Oh, yeah. To buy a refrigerator. Really, really weird. 17-year-old refrigerator. What's that one? 16-year-old refrigerator. What's that? 14-year-old. What the fuck? The fuck? This is crazy, you guys. I'm gonna show you guys real quick. Reverse the camera, facing back. Okay. Oh, hell. It's not supposed to do that. Bam. See these? It's crazy. All that for some refrigerators. Pizza, man. Damn Adreno Brome's pizza, man. Let me put this back on my stream. Alright. Nope. Did it go live? Yeah, man. I don't know what we're gonna be doing, but I know what Trump doing. The way the name and the item after the yeah, exactly, man. It's like I don't know if it's a ad or like you know how they got the milk, the missing people on the milk cartons and shit. I think it's like that. I wonder who was doing that. You know what? We need to start doing research into that, shoes. Who started putting that shit on the milk cartons? Hmm? Hmm? That's the question. That. Christy. You going to hell. I mean, you going to jail. You going to jail. You going to jail. Fire.
Have you guys heard about Alabama going to start giving the unalive penalty for those convicted of child rape? I think the rest of the United States should follow suit. I've never been one to advocate for the unalive penalty, but if there is a crime fitting for that penalty, this is it. The damage done to a child after suffering such a thing is irreparable. It completely changes their lives forever. I don't know if you guys know what m.a.p stands for. Please look that up. It's disgusting. I know a lot of you disagree with my political stance, and that's okay. Here in this wonderful country, we have the right to agree to disagree and to voice our opinions on that. But surely you can agree with this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I hope you all have a wonderful day. God bless you.
Renee Good, Alex Preddy, the sale of TikTok, and the censorship that we're now under. And now all of a sudden, we get 3 million Epstein files, in which some talk about a 13-year-old girl that bit DJs. Now, let's talk about it. With the censorship that we are under, we all know that we will only see what they want us to see. Now, the question to ask is, why? Why is it that they showed us Renee Good being murdered? Why is it that they showed us Alex Preddy being murdered? Why is it that this took place right around the time that TikTok was being sold to American investors? Why? Why is it now that even though those Epstein files were supposed to be out court ordered last year, why did they just come out now? Why are they telling us about this 13-year-old girl who bit DJ T's during an accusation? Why? The answer is because they want a certain reaction from the American people. And guess what? With all of the technology that we have and the AI on this app, TikTok alone, we've debunked so much. We've showed you so many unalivings that was AI. They showed you, y'all remember when DJ T was sitting in the Oval Office talking and his fingers were merged together? You figured out it was AI. Now, we know that they are willing to do to us what they want us to do just to push their agenda. In other words, we know that they will start the fire and come and put the fire out and then blame it on leftists or rightists. Now, the question is, why and what else do they have up their sleeve? See, we're not giving them what they want. And they want us to act a fool so that they can enact law martial. But it's not going to happen. Americans are tired of the bullshit. We're tired of the propaganda. We're tired of the lies. We're tired of it all. Now, they figured that if they released this information about what they were doing to these underage children, 13-year-old girls, 14, 15-year-old girls, little boys, and even cannibalism, it's been said that they were eating babies. And Lord knows, Robin Leach, Lifestyles of the Rich. Do y'all remember that? They even said that he killed someone in front of them. And they did all of this for shits and giggles. Could you imagine the reason why you haven't found your lost child was because the elites barbecued him and skewed him and put him on a plate? Now that you know all of this information, what are you going to do, America? That's their question. They want to see how far can they push us before we push back. No one's going to push back. Half of the people don't even believe the accusations. It's amazing that everyone that was around P. Diddy became suspect. But everyone around Epstein ends up a president, a senator, governor, billionaire, tech guy. Ain't that crazy? Anyone in a picture with Diddy, you're suspect. Donald Trump has hundreds of pictures with Epstein, hundreds of videos with Epstein, lots and lots of parties with Epstein. They even were called best friends. He had access to Epstein's private jet whenever he wanted to use it. But for some reason, Trump didn't do anything. A man that told you he doesn't ask, he just grabs him by the... That's called sexual assault. A man that told you he goes down into the dressing room to his Miss Teen USA's pageant, and yeah, they'll be undressed sometimes and naked, but it's my pageant. It's on me to go down there and inspect everything and everyone to make sure it's okay, even though they're 14-year-old undressed little girls. That's okay. He told you that out of his own mouth. A man that told you, if she wasn't my daughter, I'd surely date her. What kind of sick shit is that? A man that has come out of his own mouth and told you these things, and you've seen pictures of him with Epstein, and you're still like, no. He was just an informant. He didn't have anything to do with it. Even though the Epstein files now show that they were auctioning off little girls in Mar-a-Lago, little boys in Mar-a-Lago, and measuring their insides to see if it would be the best. What the? Sport team owners, the music industry, tech guys. It's all kinds of people involved in this. Governors, presidents, senators. It's all kinds of people involved in this. Princes, ball player, football, basketball, baseball. It's all kinds of people involved in this. And guess what you're going to do about it, America? Nothing. You're going to continue to watch these players play. You're going to continue to support these owners by buying sports memorabilia and sports merchandise. You're going to continue to buy their music and pay for their shows that's $200, $300, or $1,000 to $1,200 a piece. You're going to continue to defend people like that. And you're going to continue to want that lifestyle, not realizing what comes with that lifestyle. Once again, 13-year-old girl allegedly bit DJT's during a grape accusation. And according to the files, they were eating babies and children on the island. Eating them.
Hey, how's the
That was
move
starting to
in,
make me
Angela?
wonder, why was Biggie really killed? Y'all remember when he
Everything
said,
settled?
don't you know my nigga Gutter kidnap kids? Fuck them in their ass and throw them over the bridge? That's how it is.
What?
Y'all remember that?
What?
And now you got Diddy
No?
that has all of these tapes with all the rest of these elites from Epstein Island. That's crazy. Crazy work. And now I heard that they were speaking about Jay-Z too. And I see a lot of people was like, that was from 96. That was from 96. Well, so was that Big said. That was from 96. Let that sink in how long they've been doing this shit. Now, once again, the question is, why do they want you to have this information? What is it that they want the American people to do? I know. I know. Civil War, Part 2.
Yeah, hopefully none of that happens with us, you know what I'm saying? If the Civil War does happen, it's going to be with the Democratic Party and a liberal party fucking trying to go against the government. That probably won't work. But At least we'll be a republic again, and we won't have to worry about that shit. So, by all means, I'm gonna enjoy the show. We'll be done soon. Cool, nice. That's good to hear. Get some long way to rest. Smoke some weed, something. So we got a lot of videos still. Damn, nice amount of videos still. Let's get it.
Everyone wants to be a part of the awake game, but true awakening is understanding and knowing that Trump is only president because of the Epstein files. Once again, Trump is only president because of the Epstein files. Now, let's talk about it. I have a question for you. Is Ra-El has to have all of the tapes, all of the dirt on all of the American politicians. This is the only reason why someone who told you he don't ask, he just grab him by the, which is called sexual assault, can still become president. This is why a man that pays a porn star who he cheated on his wife with hush money and can have 34 felonies can still be the president of the United States. This is why a man that says he knows his daughter is beautiful, if she wasn't his daughter, he would. This is why this kind of person can be president of the United States. He is only president because of the Epstein files. And whenever you have those kind of tapes of somebody doing such heinous things, well, you can convince them to do anything, and I mean anything that you want. Things like, make sure that everyone in my country has free health care and free 4-year colleges, and be sure that you pay for our defense budget, all of our aircraft, our fighter jets. Make sure that y'all pay for that. How is it that, one more time, let me ask a question, is Ra-El, how is it that they have so much hold on American politicians? Once again, the only reason that Trump is president is because of the Epstein files.
Why does that sound so familiar? That is super crazy, nah. I believe it is. Shit, man, don't start that shit. Yeah, no problem, bro. No problem. Wait.
Everyone wants to be a part of.
Did this piece of shit win the Powerball back in 2008? Because the news media is saying he did. But then Google said it was a grocery store clerk who just happened to use the name Zorro Trust. So is Google still running cover for these people? Because Grok said he did win. And when you Google Zorro Trust Oklahoma, you just keep running into this story of a group, not a lady from a grocery store. A group that took the $29.3 million lump sum. But the convenience store won $25K for selling the ticket. But when you Google Altus convenience stores in Oklahoma, there's nothing there. So we ask again, is Google running cover for these people still? This isn't the first time the deep state would have taken the lottery money. We know that a CIA agent won in 83 and 84. A couple years ago, somebody did a story on this where it was like 46% of all lottery winnings went to some sort of CIA, FBI. But it's been scrubbed, so if you know what I'm talking about, leave a link in the comments and follow for more.
Man, I still think that nigga alive. I ain't gonna front. You know what I'm saying? I think that dude's still alive. He was over there on his island, chilling over there with the long cutting people and shit, making sure that shit's still manicured. Somebody maintaining that island. That's all I'm saying. Allegedly.
Special guest, a woman who has recently emerged as one of the president's most unlikely fans.
There's a certain person that's here who's the greatest and most successful female rapper in history, Nicki Minaj. Come on. And, you know,
there she is. She's right. You see her, the black woman, the only black woman in the whole room? That's her. I think Trump's looking for a Nicki Minaj à trois because she really seems to dig him. This is one of his strangest bedfellows yet. I mean, where is Cardi B with a fistful of shoes when you need her? Again, this is an event about savings accounts.
Hmm. I don't know why he making fun. Ain't that nigga on the Epstein list too? How that nigga still got a show, matter of fact? He was over there eating pizza and shit. Could have swore he was over there with Jerry Springer, all them niggas, pizza from the Bop. You know that brick oven pizza.
That Epstein, with his little friend Ghislaine and Ghislaine's father, Robert Maxwell, who was obviously a spy of the Israeli intelligence agencies, that there was something else going on here. Epstein was not some sort of whiz-kid hedge fund manager. Epstein was playing a part. Epstein was a LARPer. Epstein was cast for a specific role, and he played it really well. It's nothing new that if you're in the intel agencies, you want to try and get as much blackmail on powerful people as possible. Easy, not hard. And this is no longer just speculation. First of all, the evidence that shows that Epstein was a creation of either Mossad, Israeli intelligence.
I'm gonna say it like this. Dude was definitely the devil. Most definitely the devil. And he's still walking this earth. I'm telling y'all, No, I'm just saying. I'm telling y'all.
One thing that I think no one wants to talk about, which I think is very hypocritical of all the music, media, or cultural commentators or podcasters, is that you don't have to instantly defend Jay-Z. People have questions, and you should help clarify the questions, especially if you either know him or you've been around. Here's a few questions. Did Jay-Z sleep with an underage Foxy Brown? Is there something we're missing there? Did he sleep with underage Aaliyah? Did he meet Beyonce? These conversations about, listen, I'm on Fortnite trolling a kid. They said I groomed. I'm not fucking boys. Jay-Z ended up fucking some of these people. And there's multiple pictures of him and them underage, right? We all know with the Tiger thing. Come on. How can't we have like some type of, conversation about that? I think these days, right? Like, I heard my man Joe Budden when, that's how Drake wrote up that long ass thing saying I own a 737 and you own a modest house in New Jersey. The reason why he wrote it up, Drake was upset that Joe Budden was alluding to possible creepiness, not necessarily pedophilic, but creepiness in terms of Drake having some affinity for young women. Well, could that be the same thing said about Jay-Z? Not only Jay-Z's, Russell Simmons and a lot of them, but it feels like there's a protective, group that don't want to talk about that for those artists in that time. If it was an artist in this time, it would definitely get scrutinized more, right?
People need to what you call it they self. Man, telling y'all, he's still alive.
Are you awake yet? Three-Eye Atlas. I told you. The Christos oil has to travel up the spine, up the vertebrae. Once it makes it to the top, it has to be released back down. What does Atlas mean? Don't worry about it. I got you. As always, just pay attention. Let's just Google the word. The first meaning, a book of maps or charts. But that's not what we're talking about. The second meaning, anatomy, the topmost vertebrae of the backbone, articulating with the occipital bone of the skull. And yes, I know the word was occipital, but it was much funner saying it the way that I just said it. Now, are you waking up? They put it all in front of your face, people. We just had to figure it out. Third eye up your vertebrae. You mother, you dirty, dirty mother.
Hey, you said motherfucker get some money and turn extra freaky. I'm gonna tell you what it really is, bro. All right, it's the analogy of females start life, you know what I'm saying, in the candy store, or say around like 12, 11. That's when they start noticing that people start looking at them for attention and shit. You know what I'm saying? Then they want all. That's when all the creepy people come out. You know what I'm saying? And those are like the people who ain't getting no attention and got all the money. You know what I mean? So what it is the candy is all the items that all those people create that the people want that are coming up out of these little prepubescent ages. You know what I'm saying? So, and the thing is, like, a lot of fatherless activities going on. Because what did they do? They locked all the fathers up. So now everybody is thinking, well, what is the candy store? Shit. Now if you could trick them, you could eat them, I guess. So now people over there going willy nilly with the candy, but they don't understand that the internet used to be the candy store. You know what I'm saying? And everybody got the internet on them now. And not only that, but the internet is always watching, listening, tracking you, and knows what you're into. So now they know that you're programmed with a certain je ne sais quoi, they say. You know what I'm saying? So you like a certain flavor or thing. You know what I'm saying? And if a certain flavor is aligned with your wavelength, then you'll go into it. So they'll send it your way. This is where the algorithm comes into play. You know what I'm saying? And it's really what they created, because that's what AI is. You know what I'm saying? Just a different form of it. But that's just a little mere rundown, if you feel me. You know what I'm saying? So we could clip that.
Okay, look at this $20 bill, right? If you look at the back of a 20, you'll see a black man being hung in the center of the bill, in the middle of the White House. And then you'll see the heads of all the Blackmore queens that they have lined up on the top of the buildings, showing how they actually conquered the civilization. And this is something hidden in plain sight, right? And they say the presidents, remove the pictures of their wives or whatever, but this was symbolic for them conquering the empire. To think this has always been on the back of a $20 bill, but we have not been trained meticulously to view things with our eyes for what they are. And we haven't even been taught to intrinsically think deep about anything, because we're not critical thinkers. In America, they've made us obedient workers. But this is just something I pointed out on the currency. You see the black man being hung, and then you see the queen's heads on the top. This is just them basically subliminally letting one another know that they conquered the empire. And It has been done. Yeah.
Want to see what everyone is typing, but don't want to participate. Angela, they all lazy. Hey, but I'm gonna let you know this, Angela. 4 of these people are me. So, one's on Twitch, and I got the other 3 on YouTube. So, it is what it is. But let's get into the files, yeah.
All right, you guys, I've got some news. Emmanuel Macron is gay. Why are you gay, Emmanuel Macron? When I said it, it was a conspiracy. Now these Epstein emails are getting released and people are looking up. And by people, I mean the mainstream media. They're willing to accept that maybe I was telling the truth. He's also married to a dude because he's gay, so that makes sense. But I guess we'll wait for the next email dump before the reliably dishonest press is prepared to admit that part too. What is up with these political unions? I have questions. This brings me to Erica Kirk. Upon further information, I no longer believe that she was with her mother on the morning of September 10th, and I am going to tell you guys why that is. Welcome back to Candace. There are so many directions that we could run into with the Epstein emails, but there's something that popped up that is very interesting to me. The 23andMe emails, the elites sending one another kits. Jeffrey Epstein, I'll show you 2 of them. First and foremost to Woody Allen. Woody Allen, that entire background story that Hollywood just accepts him is absolutely crazy to me. I'm glad that that is being relitigated regarding what he did to his own child when she was 7. But allegedly, I'll say allegedly. But look at this email that Jeffrey Epstein authored to Woody. It says the 23andMe kits arrived and will be delivered to Woody and Soon-Yi to their home today. So I don't know who this actually went to, but he was getting this kit out to Woody Allen. And there's another email, this time to, who is this? They're always blacking out the names, but it says, hi, Sultan, can you please tell me who James Miller is? He is who you have billed the 30 kits to. Also, do I understand the shipping address is Jeffrey's home at 9 East 71st Street. We're talking about 23andMe kits. Do you guys remember that trend, by the way? For some reason, they came out and they told everybody, this is going to be amazing. Don't you want to know where you're from? As if they don't know where we're from. They're the ones that are trafficking people all over the world. We can help you. Just send us your DNA. And a lot of people did it. A lot of my friends did it. I was already like, seems a little suspect. It's a bit suspicious. I'm not going to do it at all. Well, interestingly enough, that particular project, 23andMe, or that particular business, also began shortly following our invasion into Iraq. I'll tell you why this matters, okay? So we invaded, as I mentioned yesterday, mid-2003, and we extracted Gilgamesh's tomb, roughly 2 years later. Well, in 2005, the now bankrupt company, 23andMe, came together where people began sending in those DNA kits to figure out their ancestry. I want you to park that in your mind as we revisit our military's strange efforts in the Middle East. I mentioned to you guys this man named Rob Skiba yesterday. He wrote a book entitled Babylon Rising. This came to me from an email tip. It was
That sounds like a good book to read. But I follow the House of Cards. That whole ship was dirty. That's why I didn't prosper anymore. The TV show even sank because of how real and political it got. It's like they were putting out the real dirt, but they didn't want people to know that it was real dirt. It's like they don't make it obviously, but you just gotta make it obviously, because if you lie and fabricate, we're gonna know anyways. A lot of time they lied and fabricated. Then when they did lie, they didn't make it believable. But when they told the truth, they made it as a joke. It's kind of weird. It's nothing to laugh about.
If you knew who was really behind Bitcoin, you would run as fast as you fucking could to sell it. I know. 100%. If you knew who owned Bitcoin or who started Bitcoin, you had Bitcoin, you couldn't sleep at night. I know. 100%. And when the real founder of Bitcoin comes out, it is my humble opinion, and there's nothing humble about me, Bitcoin will go to fucking zero.
One day.
In a microsecond, whoop, like that.
Microsecond. That's why I never really bought into that shit. I didn't really like electrocurrency. If I couldn't hold my own to where I could use it in the moment and not have to wait if their machine's down, you know what I'm saying? Because that's really what it's about. If their machine is malfunctioning and I can't pay for my item, talking about you can only accept exact change. Oh well, why the fuck are you open? You know what I'm saying? Like trying to run my information all the time. It's just fuck out of here.
Give the people bread and circus. Entertain them with little things so they won't focus on what is important. The Romans knew very well more than 21 centuries ago. Fifth strategy. The message is very simple. Timsit says he speaks to the population, to the masses, as he says, as if they were 12-year-old children. And politicians do this very well, especially in election campaigns worldwide.
This is a very old interview, and it is still very relevant. What's even older is the schemes and concepts. They say all roads lead to Rome, and that ancient empire is the same empire that rules and controls today. Because power doesn't cease to exist, it just changes shape. And like the woman said, everyone's too busy, distracted, in a bubble. I find myself becoming more of an introvert every single day because I can't engage in such fickle conversations, reality TV, celebrity gossip, etc. And I just find myself even more ostracized.
And that's really what waking up's all about too. Knowing that your time should be valued and people who don't value your time are wasting it. It's a big fact. You know what I'm saying? But what up, Nudie? It's alright that you in the background doing your shit, working. I know you do it. Know what you doing, bro. Salute you.
There was a parallel counterfeit church set up to eclipse the real one. He's suggesting usurpation or an inside job. It seems that way. Anyway, of course we know the gates of hell will not prevail against it. You know, the victory is God's, not ours. And it will flourish if we keep it in our hearts. It can flourish in our hearts and keep the faith. And that's what's going to happen. That's what I encourage you to do. Again, I'm sorry for your pain, the injustice. I'll definitely throw something in the hat to add my support. And God keep you and God bless you. Thank you.
Souls is gonna be free as that shake can be. Keep it on. Keep it going.
In your thoughts on Donald Trump and what it means for mass incarceration?
You know what? This is a labor of love for Jay, and as a result, he's my friend. We're here to talk about that and nothing else.
Well, then, can I ask you about mass incarceration? And do you think the movement?
So you telling me we got footage of Harvey Weinstein protecting Jay-Z from answering a question about Donald Trump? I'm sorry, Jay-Z, but I need you to come out and say something, man. You too quiet, and you weren't at the Grammys. When those accusations came out about Diddy, you came right out firing on all cylinders, and now your name is getting mentioned in these Epstein files, and it's crickets. I wonder will you be at the Super Bowl. I was saying it was a given you gonna be at the Super Bowl, but the more and more that this is playing out, I wouldn't be surprised, y'all, if Jay didn't even show up to the Super Bowl behind this. See, the minute they brought up Russell Wilson's name in the Epstein files, he came right out, smashed it, said that shit ain't true, whatever. All these other celebrities is trying to ignore it and act like it's just gonna vanish. It ain't going nowhere. Nope. They already got Bad Bunny doing the Super Bowl, so they done X'd out the hip-hop shit. Don't be surprised, y'all, if the NFL hits up Jay-Z and say, you know what, sit this one out, sport. I need you to come out, Jay, and say, look, I didn't have no dealings with Harvey Weinstein with the eeny, weeny, peeny. I never dealt with Jeffrey Epstein or nobody like that. Until I hear that, people gonna speculate. And I don't like it. What if I told you?
Said, brother, if you got something on you, son, it's best to run. Hey, you can't do the time, don't do the crime. They're saying the Super Bowl might mimic that movie, The Rock, with the biological virus stuff. Ooh. I like the way you say it. They probably spray that shit, all that. Or it could be like Batman and it just collapse on itself. You know how I roll. You know how I roll, bro. So, because I still think that one's going to be the plan. They're going to do the earthquakes because they got earthquake machines, aka allegedly. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm aligning with that one. So when we fall into the shifts of seismic activities, I can see that being one of them. Because a lot more of the snake movement, ooh, and then that baby might come out, Godzilla, and then be a panic. You know what I'm saying? But shit, it is what it is. Enjoy the movie. Some real creepy shit right here. It's one of those inverted pictures where they have like face in it.
Feliz Año Nuevo!
Так эпично. А прикинь, когда ты внизу на лодке.
Shit, they be showing anything on TikTok now, man. You just gotta be quick enough to get it before the AI does. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
I've had the displeasure of coming across this picture and video in the files, and it has brought to the forefront of my brain a story that my dad used to tell me all the time when I was a kid, and I didn't think would ever actually be relevant, but here we are. Back in the day, my dad used to tell me about his friend who had a daughter who was a little bit older than me, and he used to tell me this story when I was growing up as a teenager. My dad's friend's daughter had went to Miami for spring break. She was under 21, she had a fake ID, and she was in the clubs when she had met a guy who came up and introduced himself and wanted to hang out with her and show her the city. Now, her dad had instilled in her that she knew better than to go anywhere with anyone random, and so she said, no thank you, I think I'd rather just hang out here with my friends, we're good, but I really like you, I enjoy you, and I'd like to hang out with you some more. So they hung out at the club until they closed. After the club closed, they were making out in the alley, and he was trying to get her again to go with him, and she went with her better judgment and did not. When she woke up in the morning, her mouth and her face from her nose down was completely swollen. She was broken out in all of these blisters, and she had this oozing sensation coming out of these blisters. Her face is completely covered in a rash just around anywhere that her face touched this guy's at. And the swelling got so bad that she had to immediately go to the hospital. He described these as intense blisters all over her mouth, making it hard for her to talk and making it hard for her to drink and swallow. Because anyone who wakes up after making out with a random person at a club with blisters all over their mouth, she ran to the hospital in Miami, where they swabbed the blisters and they swabbed the sores as they were testing for herpes. However, that test came back as sores on her mouth due to cannibalistic exposure. All the STD tests, all the herpes swabs, everything was negative, but what was positive was her test for Kuru, which is a disease that you obtain through eating human flesh. You're ingesting infectious protons called prions, which negatively react with a living human body if it is ingested as food in a way of an inflammatory infectious disease, one that causes swelling, insane pain, blisters, and sores. Now, do I know if my dad ever actually had a friend who went to a club in Miami and made out with a cannibal? No, I have no idea, but do you know what I never did? Went to a club and made out with a random person. However, I did not think that story was going to be relevant in these files. So take with it what you will, do with it what you want, and let me know what you think in the comments.
And on the table, that is not turkey, by the way. Just letting you know. It's not turkey.
Wait a second. Because we never really did get an answer for what we were doing in Iraq, you know? The email happens to check out. Surely enough, back in 2002, a group of German geophysicists began making trips into modern-day Iraq to map out what they believed they had discovered, which was ancient Iraq that aligned with the ancient texts of Gilgamesh. I'm going to show you this headline.
Yeah, this is true because me and my homie talked about this on TikTok before they started kicking people off, and then we talked about it on Telegram after that.
Conservation Office in Munich, and they began
and then we even looked up the files.
Mapping to discover the old city.
That's where that big ass blue dude that had the red hair got found.
This is his tomb.
But he was
exactly
dead
when they find it. We know for
when
sure
they
that
found,
was sometime
after
between
they found
May
him.
2002 and very early 2003.
Just
They
saying.
became convinced that indeed they had found
Yeah, that's
the
what the
actual
weapons of mass
tomb
destruction
of
over there.
Gilgamesh, also, like I said, known as
What do you
Nimrod
guys
in the
need,
Bible.
boogie shoes?
This is within the exact timeline that we make a decision to invade Iraq. It's going to get even more insane. So it's February 5th, 2003. Colin Powell publicly states, rather notoriously
Yeah,
now
his phone
infamously
is like a
states,
Halloween haunted
that
house.
Iraq possessed weapons of mass destruction. He's holding up the anthrax. He's addressing the United Nations Security Council. Okay. Then, that quickly, next month on March 20th, 2003, we invade Iraq. The public is informed a couple of weeks thereafter. The BBC, so state arm, that fast binder, indeed had made the discovery of Gilgamesh's tomb. And conveniently, well, guess what our boys did? They were there. They happened to make their military base at that exact location. Like, this is just incredible. Colin Powell publicly states there's weapons of mass destruction during his address, and then bam, there we are on top of Babylon. Well, what exactly were we doing there? Other than, the obligatory mass murdering, plundering ancient Christian civilizations and structures, a million Iraqi civilians that were killed. That's a given. We just are always destroying Christian relics, but because we have to destroy history. They have to destroy history. But in retrospect, I have to say that I gotta stand for my boy Colin Powell looking into this, because I think he told the truth that they were indeed searching for weapons of mass destruction, but of a spiritual caliber, mass spiritual destruction. It is absolutely not a conspiracy. You can look us up yourself that we, like I told you, set up our military base, Camp Alpha, right on top of ancient Babylon. Our boys then began digging. They said that the reason that they chose this place was because they wanted to protect the site from looters. Except, I guess, the military guys got confused at the top. They accidentally started doing the looting. The instructions just weren't clear over there. This is actually a United Nations article published in 2009 when we had to confess our sins before the world. It reads in part, quote, Babylon was the capital city for two famous kings of antiquity, Hammurabi, who introduced one of the world's first law codes, and of course, Nebuchadnezzar. Partially excavated over the last century, much of ancient Babylon, which lies 90 kilometers south of Baghdad, remains undiscovered. Now, according to a 2005 British Museum report, the use of Babylon as a camp by a multinational force between April 2003 and December of 2004, by coalition forces is, quote, tantamount to establishing a military camp around the Great Pyramid in Egypt or the Stonehenge in Britain. Tells us later that Babylon was indeed plundered during the 2003 war, when contents from Hammurabi and Nebuchadnezzar museums and from the Babylon Library and Archive were stolen and destroyed. Oh, well, did we just go to war because we wanted to go on an archaeological dig? And we actually weren't allowed to do that because it was discovered and it belonged to people in Iraq. So they were like,
Bush,
weapons of mass destruction. We're going to need to
go
go there and set up camp and do some digging. Sure enough, that's what the local site did. And they just transported things out of there. This is from NBC News. It tells us that a senior U.S. military officer has said that he's willing to apologize for damage that his troops caused in one of Iraq's most famous ancient sites. British Broadcasting Corp reported Friday that after the 2003 invasion of Iraq, U.S. Marines built a helicopter pad on the ruins of Babylon and filled their sandbags with archaeological.
Yeah, that's what it is, Nudie. You know what I'm saying? That's when they came out with that one movie with George Clooney. And I remember the movie because of the song that the little country-ass white boy was singing. It's like, we the three kings, we still in the gold. My friends all drive Porsches, I must make amends. See, that's the only reason why I remember it. I was like, dude, you got a little catchy tune and shit. Then this dude looked goofy as fuck. They were out there getting it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dude, I wanted to join the army after that, but I'm like, nah, that's bad. I want to die. For what? Nothing. Nothing at all. I'm not doing it.
You had a pizza party, and I went to it, and I ended up in a corner talking to Mike Birbiglia and his wife, Jen, who's a poet, all night. They're the most wonderful people, and I just remember thinking, because I'd seen Mike in things, and I'd seen some of his, you know, he does these amazing shows. He just makes such thoughtful performances and
he has
comedy.
A new one coming out on Broadway.
Yeah, he has one that I can't wait to see. Yeah. And so I was talking to them, and I was just thinking, I'd written the anti-hero video, and I was like, he's perfect. I want him to play my son, Preston. My future son.
Your future son, Preston.
My country club going son,
and
Preston.
The big argument over the will and what you left them.
Yeah, it was great. Like, I also met Mary Elizabeth Ellis at a party. And so it's a great way to cast stuff.
Just go to parties.
You don't nobody has to audition. Just come up and say hi at a party.
We had amazing pizza that night, and
it was great. It was a blast. I mean, there's some good pictures from that night too.
Hey, that nigga did have a tsunami wave ass hair. The fuck was that? Damn fucking pizza face. Angela, I'm lost right now. I'm trying to rewind and look at chat and come back. Like, what, did I miss something? No, you good. You good. You ain't do nothing. No, she was catching up. She was trying to figure out what you guys were talking about. Yeah, he had that Ace Ventura hair. You know what I'm saying? talking about do not go in there. Taylor is really a dude. Taylor could really be one of the fallen, because she looks like Aleister Crowley's daughter. So it is what it is. Vampires all around us.
God took chemicals, which is simply the material, like tables, and he somehow made this material able to have a thought. How strange is that? Not only does it have a soul, but this some way it was put together that this material substance is able to think. So when you say to me, it's obvious to everyone that there's such a thing as a soul. Now, if you're part of the Charlatanville, you'll try to explain it to people. The soul I describe as the dark matter of the brain. Why is it dark matter? Because in high energy physics nowadays you hear terms of dark matter, dark energy. Again, terminology. It's a complicated term. Why is it dark matter? Because we can't see it, that's all. What do you mean you can't see it? Well, somehow we see something moving towards this area of darkness. Something, I can see this thing. This appears to me to be empty. It's just black. But I see it being drawn this way. So I say, well, I know if this were matter, that would follow that equation. If this was solid, it would explain the way this particle moves. But I can't see anything here. So I'll just call it dark matter. And I'll say, I don't know what it is, but it behaves as if there was something there. The soul is obvious to everyone that there's something different between things that are alive and things that are not alive. But we have no idea what it is. It's currently unexplainable. I believe we need an entirely different system of analysis to try to figure out.
See, I'm with you on that one, DJ. I call her a she might, though. Because she might be a girl, she might be a man. You know what I mean? So, feel me? Works out that way.
This might strike a nerve in some people, but we got to start telling the honest truth. I don't care about no Epstein files no more. Like, I don't care. True enough, I want the victims to get the justice that they deserve. It was so many people that was hurt just by the actions of these people that's been on this list, but we got to call a spade. Until they start showing me people with handcuffs on, walking them out their house, setting them a court date, and making them go through the process, I don't care no more. It all just seems like one big game, one big distraction, something to put in front of our face to keep our attention off more important stuff. Once again, I'm not saying the Epstein files aren't important, because those victims do need justice. But how many times we gotta hear about names and not hearing about people being locked up for this? You got people going to court for traffic tickets faster than these people going to court or being prosecuted. Like, we got to start making it make sense. It don't make sense. They're not going after them. They just want to keep throwing it out there. Keep throwing it out there. I don't want to see who did it no more. I want to see who getting locked up behind doing what they did, man.
The little kid with the red circle around his head is Adam Sandler. They trying to say that. I don't know. It could be. It could be. Just saying. Just saying. Where we at with it? I got that.
Oh. Yep. Back to the American antiquities. For those that don't know, 1835. Okay, we're going to end all the debates. Now, this is a legitimate book from 1835. This is not a reprint. This is not a copy. This is the actual book. Okay, don't mind my dirty nails. I work a lot. Okay, pretty much non-stop. So leave me the fuck alone. Look, let me show you something. We're gonna end all the debates right now. The Atlantic Nations of America. The ocean separating Europe and Africa from America is yet called the Atlantic Ocean. Our littoral states are called the Atlantic states. The Atlantes of North Africa, who gave their name to the Atlas Mountains, and whose descendants exist there as yet, under the names of Turks, Berbers, Shella, Shawaya, and were one of the primitive nations of both continents. They came to America soon after the flood, if not before, colonized and named the ocean, and the islands in it, as well as America, which was called the Great Atlantis, or rather, Atala, meaning the first or main land. This name is preserved in Hindu traditions. The Atlantes were not only the primitive colonists of America, but they were the most conspicuous and civilized. Their true name was Atalans. They may have been the founders of Otolim and many other ancient cities here in North America. Their descendants exist in this day in America under the names of Talas or Tarascus, Atalalas, Matalans, Talagawas, Otalis, or Sutukis, Talahuicas, Chantalis, or Sendalas, and more. From California to Guatemala. Now, pause for a second and just breathe that in, because when Columbus again discovered America, he and the earliest explorers were struck with similarity between many American tribes and the Guanches of the Canary Islands, many of the oceanic Atlantes in features, manners, and speech, whether the Haitians, Cubans, and Iroquois were genuine Atlantes is rather doubtful, because their language is more akin to the Pelagic than the Atlantic. But 3 at least of the 25 original nations of America above enumerated may safely be deemed the children of the Atlantes. They are the 9th or Otalis, the 10th or Atalans, and the 14th or Chantals. This could be proved in many ways by their languages compared with those of their African brethren, the Turks, the Guanches, etc., after a separation of several thousand years, but the proofs would fill a volume. Our actual Cherokees, or Cherokees, and Akan tribes are the children of the first branch, named Otalis. This was their original name. Adair, only 100 years ago, says that the genuine or upland Cherokees were called Otalis, which name meant mountaineers, as in Africa. They call themselves now Seleucus. Our name of Cherokees is derived from the word Chalakis, name of a tribe. They have not the sound of R in their speech. Only one tribe substitutes R to L. The interesting history of this nation shall deserve our attention hereafter. The Chantal branch of nation will come under notice in investigating the antiquities of Otolim or Palenque. It remains here to serve the genuine branch of Otalans, eldest perhaps of the American Atlantes. Among this, the best known, and yet hardly known, are the Tarascas of Michoacan in West Mexico, the brave nation that first asserted the late Mexican independence. Their true name, Tala, and Tlaxcala, meaning Tala, self, the, or, in our idiom, the very self, Tala. They have no R in their speech, and this name was changed by the Othmis and Mexicans into Tarascas. Right? So, from this interesting little work, some other account from Vader in the Spanish writers, we learn something of their language, which is yet spoken, and may be thoroughly studied. We also learn that they formed a powerful and civilized kingdom independent of Mexico at the Spanish invasion, which became the ally of the Spaniards, but was by them subdued by treachery and infamous conduct. But we learn very little of their previous history, and the little known is buried in untranslated Spanish books. It is by their language that we can hope to trace the origin and most remote history. Languages do not lie, says Horntuki. They reveal what time has buried in oblivion. We have been struck with its evident analogy with the Atlantic, Coptic, Pelagic, Greek, Latin, and Italian languages of Africa and Europe, both in words and structure, and in spite of a separation of some thousands of years, this language is rich, beautiful, and highly complex. It amalgamates particles to modify words, as in the Italian, the verb have 15 modifications, as in Italian, or nearly so. They can be compounded, as in Greek. It admits of all the Greek rhetoric figures. The plural is formed by X. It has nearly all the European vocal sounds except F and R. Also no GN or night, and no LL, but it has 3 sibilant, TSTZ and TZH. The analogies with the Italian are striking in following phrases, and some even appear with the Saxon English. So once again, as I've stated and told you multiple times over the years, the Mexicans were indeed not the people that you see there now. Those are the Spaniards and what was left of them after they mixed with the Spaniards, and that's why you have those light-skinned ass people that are claiming to be there. Secondly, I want to compile this with something else, which is page 283, where we get into the voyages and shipping of the Mongol Tartars and settlements of the western coasts of America, where it starts off with the whole western coast of the American continent from opposite the Japan Islands in latitude 40 to 50 degrees north down to Patagonia in latitude 40 south, a distance of more than 6,000 miles. It would appear once was populous with such nations as peopled the Japan Islands and the eastern shores of Asia, Chinese Tartary, China, and farther India, who also peopled the islands between with their various nations. You remember when I was like, hey, look, the Chinese and the Japanese came over to the Americas in like the 12 and 1300s, and they had an entire map of the Americas, and you guys were like, oh, that's bullshit. Well, let's get some details, because there's a lot to unpack right here, because a cross made of fine marble, beautifully polished, about 3 feet high and 3 fingers in width and thickness, was found in an Indian temple. This, it appears, was kept as sacred in a place of one of the Incas and held in great veneration by the natives of South America.
See? Yeah, the statues in the Grand Canyon, all that shit. They don't want truth out there, but you know what it is. You know how we get down? We finding it everywhere and getting it all around. Shit. Let's check out this Schumann, I guess.
Threshold alert and geometric scan the 4th of February 26. We are now tracking decks for point of flare tail and the KP threshold simultaneously. While the flare's initial radiation causes radio blackouts, the tail, the lingering frequency, contains the geometric blueprints. Detecting a dodecahedron frequency pattern at 12-sided geometry and history, this shape is associated with other and the divine blueprint. This is a reordering signal. It is targeting the non-coding sections of your DNA. You might experience this as a sudden clarity on complex problems or a feeling that your internal map is being updated. The X for point of flare is essentially pinging your biofield to see if you are ready for a higher bandwidth of Consciousness. You are not just observing this dodecahedron frequency, you are resonant with it. In the geometry of the universe platonic solids, the dodecahedron represents the universe, Heather. Next up, I will dig deeper on the mother key.
I was gonna say, yo, it ends soon, so. But you said, don't believe nothing they tell you. We are a science experiment. On a planetary scale, yes. One of many.
The sensors are registering a massive surge in the solar environment, primarily driven by a solar flare factory known as active region 4366. This region is currently a behemoth sunspot group, nearly half the size of the historic Harrington sunspot. The sun is in a state of relentless eruption. Over the last 48 hours, region 4366 has released a staggering amount of energy. Powerful X1.5 flare erupted today, February 3rd, at 1418 UTC. This follows an extraordinary X8.1 flare on February 1st, which ranks as one of the strongest in years. The sun remains restless, releasing 14 M-class flares in just the past day alone, including a punchy M7.2.
Solar flare or opening of the Stargate. I like the way you think. I like the way you think. It's gonna let me do it. That's funny as fuck. But it's the truth. And you know what that means. Oh, it's not gonna let me move again? It's alright, man. Not everything is as it seems in this world, but we gonna keep on dreaming. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep on dreaming.
But
That's
we all
it.
come together and say, let's stop attacking pedophiles.
You hear what Ted Cruz just said?
Hey, let's stop attacking pedophiles.
He probably didn't mean like that. We need to get the full context.
Senator Booker also said we should have bipartisan agreement. I think that's a great idea. We should have bipartisan agreement. How about we all come together and say, let's stop murders? How about we all come together and say, let's stop rape? How about we all come together and say, let's stop attacking pedophiles? I want you to look at what happened when the National Guard went to D.C.
He didn't even blink, though.
Yeah, man. Bad people in the houses. Time to clean it up, man. It's the generation to do it, too. But I like to leave it on a good note, y'all. Appreciate y'all for coming through. You know how we do, man. Family stick together. That's who you is. You family. And in this thing in time, we're going to need family. Because people going to have some kind of understanding. And we're going to get that here. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, don't forget.
We had a saying where we would be like, peace, be safe. But then we heard Nipsey say, stay dangerous. And I never understood it. But then when I finally understood it, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Stay dangerous. Because when you are, you're aware. If you're part of the danger, you can see the danger around you as well. You have to stay dangerous. Because if we're not, we're going to get caught unaware. And then we're just a pawn being used. When you carry yourself like a king, you will be.
The real flex is how many lives you can positively impact. It's not about cars, clothes, or clout. Influence means nothing if you're not helping somebody to grow. The legacy you leave won't be measured by what you had, but by who you helped. Real power.